Hey Red, you gonna do the thing where you... Yes! However, intrepid traveler, you know that what you seek cannot be found. That thing that you seek is satisfaction, and all Capcom offers you is the question of why you still play this fucking game in the hopes it will get better. The Buddhists say that you may search the universe and find nobody more deserving of love than yourself. And that's true, because nobody deserves love, especially your favorite character. This year we've got a ton of characters to work through, so let's fucking do this! Global changes! Kage was introduced this year, and Capcom spoiled their announcement by releasing him on PS4 2 hours before the trailer dropped. But the joke's on me because I called him Cage, and the fucking weeb army in the comment section will not let me forget it. He looks dumb and is probably fun, so that's the thing. You can no longer tank a killing blow with an armored move, which has upset absolutely nobody who ever died to that kind of bullshit, and did piss off all the people who used it. Abigail had this coming, but I feel sorry for Geef players on this one. V-trigger activation no longer causes you to have invincibility on activation if it did, because that's a glitch, and fuck knows if fixing this will give Capcom more time to build sponsored content into the game. Another bug was fixed where reversals came out one frame slower than they should, which is great, except if you play online it's not gonna matter because it's just gonna eat your fucking reversal input anyway, so no changes there. Ryu! People are telling me that buffing Ryu's fireball speed is a big improvement, but they did nothing to fix his hitboxes or frame data, so right now Ryu players who believe this are basically just deep-throating a cactus. It's weird and it's painful, but they'll tell themselves anything to try and make it a better experience. Chun-Li! She's basically the same as before, but with some new V-trigger shenanigans, which is to say she's nowhere near Season 1, which is something we can all drink to. Nash! Mediocrity is a recurring theme in this patch, and that Capcom want to do as little as possible to try and fix what they, and only they, see as their tier list, which is not broken. Nash sums this up perfectly by having virtually no changes except buffs to a V-trigger that nobody uses, thus proving the old maxim that if it ain't broke, you're probably too lazy to fix it anyway. Bison! I claim that Bison, who is easily a top 10 character at this point, will get nerfed into the dirt after winning EVO final 6 games to 0 against Takedo. Capcom clearly took this as some kind of a challenge and buffed him to spite me. Cammy received a bunch of very minor nerfs that should really only serve to normalize her, instead of making her the god tier scrub kill that she's been for the last 3 years. That hasn't stopped everyone already dropping her for Sakura because tier whore's got a tier whore. Birdie got a bunch of nerfs because Capcom were forced to make a Mena RD costume following him winning the Capcom Cup, and they were clearly not happy about it. Ken was the one character in Street Fighter V who rewarded stupid play with big damage. This phenomenon is known as something called fun, a concept clearly alien to the solid husks at Capcom Japan. And as a result, this bullshit is now completely unsafe in every regard. Nakali, the poster boy for Street Fighter V, is virtually unchanged in this patch, and ain't that just a perfect way to sum this whole shit show up. Vega, the man with the intoxicatingly punchable face, received a bunch of buffs because when you're Capcom, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Mika Doge getting picked for nerfs like she was a real estate tycoon with heel spurs, which actually indirectly buffs her right up to top 10 because she was still a robbery character of the highest order, and I will fight you in the street if you claim otherwise. Rashid was the one character everyone agreed was perfectly balanced in Season 3.5. Capcom saw this and asked Oil King to hold their beer while they nerfed him blind. Karin! Standing HP no longer triggers crush counter, which means Karin mains will have to actually rub 2 brain cells together when trying to fish for damage in neutral. Zangief! The Protector of Russian Skies took out a loan for a command throw damage buff, which was repaid by stealing any viability he had left. Laura!
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Yeah, she's basically Season 1 Laura now. Dalsim! Everyone's favorite pacifist will actually have to make good reads now because if he goes in for a meaty setup that's blocked, he can't make it safe with EX Yoga Flame. Suck it, Noodleman. Fang! No changes of any importance, but he did get a new air dash so he can run away a little faster when people are laughing off his poison damage like it's a skin rash. Alex, the new king of big buddy grapplers, is here. Please leave your Abigail registration card in the bin provided. Guile. Capcom looked at a top 3 character who has outstanding defense, unstoppable offense, plus frames, mix-ups, and frame traps for days, and decided they should nerf Rashid instead. Ibuki! Her V-skill is now punishable on block, which should give you something to think about while you're spending most of the round stuck in a dizzy state. Balrog. There's only so many ways I can make jokes about a character not receiving any meaningful changes in the Season 4 patch, so just look at these sweet anime tees and pretend that I said something funny. Juri. I already made a whole video about Juri's changes, but suffice to say Juri receiving buffs is a lot like my sex life. She's not getting any, and she's crying herself to sleep. Urien players rationalize they need to play like scrubs because he isn't good enough to be played honestly. After seeing his patch notes, I get ready for a lot more scrubby Uriens. Akuma didn't get any meaningful changes because if you were gullible enough to think that they were going to nerf one of the game's most popular and recognizable faces, I have some terrible news.
Attention, all Fortnite gamers.
Akuma
is in great danger and he needs your help to wipe out the squads in the
Shadaloo base.
But to do this, he needs Golden Scar and a couple of Chug Jugs.
Cullen. Well, I think we know where all the current mains are going now. Ed. The fact that all EX reversals now take bonus damage on Crush Cannon will not deter Ed mains from using it every time they finish a string at -2, because only death cures stupidity. Abigail. I ruined my own joke about Abigail's nerfs with the Alex breakdown, so I'm guessing by Capcom standards that was a smart play. Manat. People think getting a 3-bar V-trigger is the biggest nerf she received, but they clearly didn't read the part where her standing heavy punch was completely gutted. Either way, she didn't have the legacy armor that Guile and Akuma wear to save her from nerfs, and we're all better for it. Zeku. Fuck, there are a lot of changes here. I'm not going to embarrass myself by pretending to know any of this is good or bad, so let's just go back to the anime tits and you can make up your own mind. Sakura. She had a bunch of buffs because apparently her neutral was awful even though it was clearly better than Ryu's. I'd say I'm confused, but complaining about Capcom patches that don't make sense is like complaining about water that is entirely too wet. Blanca. He took several hits to his damage in neutral, but characters who couldn't punish his Blanca Ball before still can't now, which should lead to Akuma players demanding more nerfs. Falk. I'm assuming the increase in fall speed to her her Lieberfug Jaeger Bomb means that she can no longer be punished on hit. Expect to see Justin Wong hover-handing his way over to her in 2019. Cody, the mayor of Ventura City, got a whole bunch of buffs and a whole bunch of nerfs, proving that when you're Capcom, you can do a lot and still achieve nothing if you really try. G. The man who melts your life bar just by looking at it got more HP because he's just a poor defenseless man with no reversal options and couldn't give a fuck about damage scaling in any of his combos. Sagat. He's got a bunch of buffs, but he's still not as good as Guile, who has exactly the same game plan as Sagat but is just way the fuck better at it. And that's it for the Season 4 Salty Breakdown. As always, these videos take a lot of work to make, so if you want more, make sure you like and subscribe, as well as showing them to all your friends. They'll think you're cool.